Hello everybody, welcome to Cosmic Waves Tarot. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for spending some time with me today. We have another community question today. Thank you so much to this person who commented, and thank you to everyone who's been interacting. I love hearing your questions, and it's genuinely a huge honor to read for you, so I'm always very glad to do it. This person is wondering if the tarot can provide some insight about their path after graduation. They shared that they've been finding it difficult to get a job in this economy, and they don't have a ton of work experience or financial resources built up yet, which totally makes sense if you've been a student before. They're also interested in taking a gap year, but of course that's also a little bit difficult because it requires some financial resources. So they've just kind of been wondering what the path is for them moving forward, and if there's any encouragement or insight that the tarot can offer. So I'm shuffling now with this question in mind. What insight, what advice can we give to this querent? Let's see what we have. The Knight of Cups, the World, and the Four of Cups. So right away what stands out to me is that we have 2 cups and 1 major arcana card. So let me start with the major arcana because it is the strongest symbol and signal that we get in this reading. And the World in particular is such a beautiful card and so encouraging for this question. So I'm really happy to see that it came up for us. The World is the last major arcana card in the cycle of the tarot. So if you know about tarot or if you're learning, you know that it starts with 0, which is the Fool, and then all the major arcana cards go through this cycle, and it's meant to kind of cover the entire scope of the human experience. So the high highs and the low lows and everything in between. And by the time we get to the 21st card, the World, we've completed the cycle, which is why this woman is crowned with this complete laurel wreath around her. This symbolizes victory, and it symbolizes the end of a chapter, and that you're about to level up to a new chapter. This card makes a ton of sense to follow a graduation because you're moving from one chapter of your life. You've completed your student chapter, and now you're moving on to something new, a completely new cycle. So when the World comes up, it's mostly time to celebrate and to reflect on your accomplishments. I know that when you first graduate, it can feel very overwhelming and that you have to figure everything out all at once. You have to know what's coming next in your career path, and you want to start building those financial resources right away and getting that experience. I totally understand that. But at the same time, you have to appreciate how far you've come and really think about what you've accomplished, what you've learned, and how you're going to carry that with you to the next cycle. So whether you want to work in the field that you were studying before or not, you have skills that you gained, and you have experiences, hopefully people that you've met, that will help you in this next chapter, that will help you reach your potential in the next chapter. So I would encourage you to dwell on this energy of the world, really focus on it, look more about this card and kind of what speaks to you about the world, and just really try and celebrate it, celebrate how far you've come, and just reflect on that energy before you start kind of spiraling out about what's coming next. I know that's much easier said than done, but it's really important to recognize how far you've come and give yourself grace before stressing about the next chapter. Next, I'm going to turn to this Four of Cups. Cups in the tarot correspond to our emotional state, our relationships. It's the element of water in the tarot. And so when the cups come up, it's dealing with that sort of energy. So our emotions, how we relate to other people, how we're feeling. And this Four of Cards is kind of about some disillusionment or dissatisfaction. This young man is sitting here. He has 3 perfectly good cups set up in front of him, and there's even a magical 4th cup being offered by this hand kind of through the ether. So he's being gifted all these cups, and he just has to choose one. But he's kind of sat there, not moving. His arms are crossed. He's not reaching out for any of the cups because he seems just very dissatisfied and kind of almost paralyzed, unable to make a decision. So when this Four of Cups card comes up, it can signal some stagnation, some disillusionment, maybe some difficulty in making a choice, which is all things that I completely pick up on from this person's question. As they said, it's been kind of hard to find their path, hard to find a job. They want to take a gap year, and probably that involves travel or at least some hobbies. But they feel that they're not exactly able to do that either. When the Four of Cups comes up, it's one of those situations where the only way out is through. So the only way to kind of break this posture of sitting with your arms crossed is to reach out for something. I love the saying that as you walk the way appears. So sometimes you don't always know what's ahead, or even if that's the correct path that you should be going down. But you just have to make the next best decision that you can at the time. So if you look around and you say, well, I don't really want to do this job, but it's kind of the only option for me right now, and I need to make some money, maybe that's the path you have to go down. But maybe you look around and you just say, I won't be happy with this type of work. I have to figure something else out. And I really want to do a gap year. Then looking into some other programs, like maybe teaching abroad or doing farming. I know there's all kind of work exchanges out there. Something of that nature could also be a really great fit. But you do at some point have to choose. And the earlier you can kind of break this stagnation and move through this Four of Cups energy, the better you'll start feeling, and the sooner you can move towards the next chapter of your life. So definitely reflect and celebrate on what you've learned, and after you do that, kind of break out of this stagnation and try to move forward in any way. It doesn't have to be perfect, you just have to take the next step. And the way to do this is by embracing this Knight of Cups energy. Cups, of course, still correspond to emotions and our relationships. And the Knights are very brave, very valorous. They have a lot of energy, but they're a little more experienced than the Page, for example. So they have a little bit more wisdom, but they're not as fully developed as the King, for example. So when the Knight comes up, it's time for real bravery in this area of your life. So the Cups, because they correspond to emotions, the Knight calls on you to be really vulnerable and really brave with facing your own desires and emotions, your fears, your hopes, your dreams, everything like that. So be vulnerable with yourself, and then also be vulnerable with the people around you who you think are supportive of you. If you have a partner or family that has been kind of encouraging you and helping you as a student, it's time to be very honest with them as well. Just discuss very openly your hopes, your fears, why you're feeling that way, and go much deeper than the surface level. The Cups really call on you to dig deep and look within your underlying emotions, not just what is present at the surface. So when the Knight of Cups comes up, it encourages you to move forward. He's moving on this horse, and the way to do that is by just wearing your heart on your sleeve and by being very open with yourself, with people around you, and hopefully that will bring you some clarity and some insight onto what you can do next. Sometimes I think the reason why we can't make a decision or why it feels really hard to do something is because we haven't even fully unpacked our own thoughts and fears and hopes about that thing. Maybe we think that we're not good enough, but we don't actually want to name that and work on it. We just kind of want to say, oh, it's not possible. And I'm not saying that this is the situation this querent is in, because I completely recognize that, as they said, the economy is very volatile right now. It is not an easy time to be graduating and getting a job. So I completely recognize and understand the circumstances that this person is facing. However, just by being as true to yourself as possible, whatever that means, that is your way out of this situation. So in summary, we have the World, which is our very beautiful, very encouraging, very supportive card here. We have the Four of Cups, which definitely recognizes the stagnation and the frustration that you're feeling. Especially, it looks like it's impacting your emotional world and maybe even your relationships with other people. But the Knight of Cups is here to support you and to encourage you to be as open and vulnerable and brave as possible as you move forward in this new chapter of your life. So that is all for this community reading. Again, thank you so much to our querent for commenting. Thank you to everybody who's interacted with this community. It means so much to me to be able to read tarot for you, to see your questions and comments. I truly love it. So thank you again. Please let me know if there's a question that you have, and I can't wait to see you in the next reading. Have a wonderful day.